now? Okay, it took like a minute to work because I went there and it said one participant, even though I joined it already.
Sam might need you to go to Florida with him next week because he needs to sign his clients and then know you.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right, so we just got to put that to Facebook though. I didn't do that yet because
okay, I'll do that.
Cool.
Let me just tell.
Yep.
Oh, and you're gonna have to help Eva. She wants to use one of our shipping services for pallets.
Okay.
Sam said it was okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
Mm.
I did it.
No, she said Sam. She said Sam. Okay, we're gonna start in just a moment. Ugh. Right. It's not charging. That I'm not sure why.
Are your outlets working?
They should be, yeah. I mean,
I tried it there. You just
yeah, in a minute. It's not live on Facebook yet. Long-term storage. Long-term storage. It's fun stuff. Oh yeah.
What's this like for Facebook?
What?
Facebook.
What about? It's
What's
not.
it like for?
So you can pick up the audio.
You can't use the third speakers and stuff.
Well, I mean, we can, but there's no reason to. It's just so we were for the computer to pick us up. These computers don't have built-in mics.
This is the best candy bar.
Which one is Babe Ruth? Ew. Get out of here. It's literally one of the worst.
I'm gonna show you one.
Show me the way. Mm. Okay, everybody. We are now live on Facebook and here as well. So this session is going to be talking about long-term storage, something that some of you may know what it is and some of you may not. It's very fun stuff, and by very fun stuff, I mean very annoying and dreadful, annoying stuff. For new accounts, you're probably not going to experience that, but it's good to know about it. So long-term storage is a fee that Amazon charges for products, or rather on products that have been sitting in their storage for over 6 months or over 12 months. But it only hits on February 15th and August 15th. So the quickest and easiest way to understand what that means is that if you send the product in February 16th, let's say of 2017, last year, you sent it in February 16th. The next long-term storage period is August 15th. And by the time August 15th hits, it hasn't been a full 6 months yet. So you don't get charged at all. Because if you sent it in February 14th, it's been there for 6 months. That's the shortest time that it'll be charged. It was there since January, it's 6 months storage. It was there from December, it's 6 months storage. So once February 2018 rolls around, since it hasn't been a full 365 days yet, you still get charged 6 months storage because it hasn't been a full 365 days. If you sent it in February 14th and the product is still live by February 15th of 2018, let's say the next year, then you get charged 12 months storage. And the way it works is Amazon will charge per cubic foot. So I'll show you the help page. Oops. It's 11.25 per cubic foot. That's the wrong thing. That was an advertisement I clicked on. Yeah. So 11.25 per cubic foot for 6 month storage, and for anything over 12 months, they charge $22.50. And this page actually does a really good job breaking down what this means. So let's say you have a toy that's size 11 by 8 by 2, and you have 1 unit in stock for between 6 and 12 months. By the time long-term storage hits, you'll be charged $1.15 for that one item. If you have for over 12 months, you'll be charged $2.29, so double that, $2.30. If you have 2 units at 6 months, self-explanatory. It's just double what that is. So this is important because if you have a lot of inventory, or you have any inventory that's slower moving, that you have overstock, that's good, and it's coming to the point where you're going to be charged long-term storage, you can take action on this. You can minimize the amount you're going to be charged by either recalling the inventory, or disposing of the inventory, or just doing sponsored ads, or dropping your prices and liquidating them, doing promotions, or just leaving them there to eat the charge. Because sometimes, in this example, this product's going to be charged $1.15 per unit. So if you have, it's like 30 in stock, you're spending almost $40 there, or like $35 there. 32, whatever it is. But if you have a product where the long-term storage fee is, let's say, 13 cents a unit, you have a really small product, and your options are to recall it back to your inventory or back to your warehouse or house or wherever your location is for 50 cents a unit, that doesn't make sense to recall it. You may as well just eat the charge and see if you can get it to sell at Amazon, because it's going to be doing nothing if you bring it back from Amazon. So the 3 main ways of handling long-term storage, just to reiterate, we have leaving it at Amazon, letting it sell, recalling it, and then maybe liquidating it somewhere else, or selling it on a different platform, or donating it, or disposing of the inventory. And disposing of the inventory is 15 cents for standard size and 16 cents for oversized per unit. So that's another thing to think about. What was I going to say? So within those 3 options, there's a lot of things you could do. So let's take the option where you're going to keep it at Amazon. If you want to keep your items on Amazon, you want to make sure that it's even worth it, because obviously, like I said before, if the fee is higher than the amount of recalling, I would only keep that there if the products are selling. So sometimes you just have overstocked units, but let's say you have an item that's selling pretty slowly, but it sells for such a high price that if you just make one sale, it'll overcome the fees or outweigh the fees you're going to be paying to have it for the long-term storage. So you may as well just keep it there. So the way to see which products you're going to be charged long-term storage, if you go to your inventory and go to inventory planning and then click on inventory age, this has a column for estimated long-term storage fees. And they show you how much they're going to charge you, how many what the quantity they're going to be charged, and how many sales in the last 90 days, 180 days, or between 90 and 180 days, 180 to 270 days, et cetera, et cetera. So, this is inventory age. This is how long it's been in stock for. Then they show you the last units sold in the last 90 days. The report shows the bigger breakdown. I'll show you the download report in a minute. So this is important because they'll show you by ASIN or by product how many you have in stock, how long it's been in stock, how much they're going to charge you, and how many units you sold in the last 90 days, and your current price. And they'll give you like a recommendation. They'll say create a sale, update the product settings, advertise the listing. There's usually one more. Lower price, or match the price, right? And you see here, there's low conversion or there's low traffic are the 2 main contenders. If it's low traffic, that means that maybe you should advertise the listing, help bring traffic, help get sales. It's low conversion, it means people are going to the page, but they're not buying. So maybe lower your price, maybe do a promotion or something like that. If that's not going to help, you want to make sure you're at least going to be making your money back. So let's work with what we have. In this example, we have 19 in stock. 1 has been in stock between 180 and 270, but 18 have been in stock for over a year. And we have 1 unit sold in the last 90 days. So at my sell price of $86, if I project 1 unit to sell in the next 90 days, that's not going to overcome my long-term storage fees. So even though it's $325 per unit here and whatever, it's probably $650 per unit here for all these ones. This is going to be double the amount. that's not going to compensate for it. So what I can do is I could probably recall a certain amount, leave 1 or 2 in stock, drop this fee down drastically, and eat these charges just so we have something in stock, and then maybe replenish it. So there's a lot of things you can kind of play around with and figure out what's the best way to handle it. So each product, unfortunately, is going to be its own scenario if you're going to be handling it like this. Now, yeah. So I would probably lower the amount anyway because it says low conversion. But in this example, I'm going to be paying $120 come February 15th, and only 1 unit sold in the last 90 days. So that's a very small amount. So in order to bring traffic to this, I'd either lower the price or do ads or do both. And even if it sells at $86, after fees, I'm probably coming back with like $65 or $67, not including my cost of goods. So if I'm only getting $67, but I'm paying $120, I'm losing about $60 right there just by keeping these products at Amazon. So I might as well at least try to keep the amount in stock equal to the amount that's sold, or at least roughly that, because the harder part about this long-term storage period is that the last 90 days is including Christmas time. So a lot of your numbers may be inflated. So you may see a certain number of sales, but that won't be exactly the same amount that you can project. So I would probably do a small percentage of that, or even just say, well, these might not even sell at all. Maybe they only sold because of the fourth quarter, because of Christmas time. So you can scroll through this list and look at your products that are going to be charged and take it one at a time and take action on one at a time. And for items that are maybe going to be, if you look at it to see, you can figure out how much they're going to be charged per unit by just dividing the total amount by the quantity. And if you see that it's going to be over 50 cents and they're not selling at all, maybe your best option is to recall it and then donate it or liquidate it or send it to an auction house or something like that. Like we have Forest Secure has a, Auction Go or Go Auction or something. I forgot the name of his service. We used them last year. Go Gambit, yeah. And so he has, basically what you can do is you can send your products directly to him and he'll auction them off pretty cheaply. And anytime anything sells at the end of the month, he'll send you a check of the total amount that things sold for. So you at least make some capital back. It won't be the same amount, obviously. I think most of these auction places and liquidation places, there's another one called AMZ Expiry. They give you between 8 to 12% of the average selling price. So you have to really consider you're making so much less, but you're at least getting some money back that you would be. And you want to make sure that number is at least more than what you'd be paying in long-term storage. If it's less than the long-term storage fee, you may as well just eat it up because if you're not going to make back the capital. So, yes.
So once you do that, you lower the amount
and it still doesn't sell?
No. But does that reset the clock?
No. Nope. It's based on the inventory age. So these products have been here for this much time. They're going to be charged on February 15th this amount. So all you can do is lower the quantity or try to increase sales by doing so. So that way this number goes down if things sell. But if they don't sell, if you're coming closer to February 15th, it still hasn't sold, you did all you can, you spent money on ads, you lowered your price. Your last resort is, do I eat the charge, destroy the items for 15 cents per unit, or recall them and send them to an auction house, or recall them and donate them, or recall them, sell them to people whatever you want to do.
So is February 15th the day that you can start requesting?
That do it before, because that's the day they hit charge. You want to have the stuff in reserved, ready to ship out from Amazon, so they don't get it charged. So I would say do it 2 days before. Cutting it close is 1 day, but 2 days before to be safe.
And just to be clear, anything that's sent in August 16th.
You should be clean. I mean, this report will tell you what products are being charged, but as like a safe, as you're planning to send products in, if you're near August or near February, just plan to send it in after that date.
My thing is I send in starts in already.
September, because there's a month before, you're probably good too, because you just wanted to get stuff for Q4. So that's fine. But if you were sending stuff in, let's say, you're the second week of August, you may as well just wait the extra few days just so you bypass that period if the products don't sell through Q4 and then will be potentially charged in February.
Based on that, if you look at the fourth product down, the Fruit of the Loom.
Yes.
Inventory age says 91 to 180, but they're saying they're going to get charged $58.
So let's take a look at that. So these are being charged 6 months storage.
Why would they?
Oh, because it's January today. By February, it'll be more than 180 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is today's results.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
yeah.
I'm looking at it like, okay, if it's less than 180, why are they getting
Yeah, it's likely we probably sent this in like just before August, just because we were probably moving things out of the warehouse, whatever it was. So the next way we can do this is if you go to download report, there's 2 reports we can look at to organize this data. There's the inventory age report and the inventory health report. Inventory age will give you exactly this information. So if I download this real quick, just to show you, all Seller Central reports generally download in a text file. You can configure your computer open to Excel, but I think you can just copy and paste everything into a workbook and then. So it's a lot, they give more columns than that report, but it's the same information. So this snapshot is just when you're getting the information from. So this is from January 6th. You have your SKU, FN SKU, ASIN, let me zoom in a bit. ASIN, product title, condition, available sellable quantity, quantities with removal in progress is gonna be 0 for the moment. Then we have inventory age, which is how long the products have been there. So between 0 and 90, 90 to 180, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Currency, I usually delete because it's all gonna be USD. I usually curate this list to be only the relevant information. We only sell new products, so I'm gonna delete condition. Since I'm dealing with long-term storage, I'm only gonna count, like you said before, only above 180 days. So I'll delete these 2, let's say. I'm gonna delete this as well, just kind of getting the report to be more manageable. Then we have projected long-term storage fees, 6 months, quantity to be charged long-term storage fee. So here are the 4 columns that are the most important in this report. Quantity to be charged 6 months, projected fees 6 months, quantity to be charged 12 months, projected fees 12 months. So these are the 4 columns we need to look at and focus on. So before looking at any other data at the moment, I can at least sort this spreadsheet by the most, what products are gonna be charged the most. Let's say 12-month storage, I sort this high to low. I'm now looking at how much I'm gonna be charged 12-month storage. I can do the same thing for 6 months. Sort it high to low, look at what I'm gonna be charged the most for these guys. And you want to take action on the ones that are, at least take action on these guys first, because these are the worst contenders. These are ones that are gonna affect your cash flow the most. So what I like to do, you don't have to do this way. I like to do a sum column just to see the totals, because some products may be in both categories. So I'll do total long-term storage, quantity, and total long-term storage fees. I'm not typing. Why am I not typing? Okay, that was weird. Okay, so and what I'm doing here, I'm just gonna do it basic sum. So I'm gonna do equals quantity 6 months plus quantity 12 months. So I have the total. And even if there's 0, this is good because I want to sort by 1 column. I don't want to sort by 6 months or 12 months. I want to see the total fees no matter what. And the same thing here, I'm going to do equals projected fees plus projected fees. And now what I have here, if I drag these down, I could sort this 1 column by the highest to lowest. And whether it's 6 months or 12 months doesn't matter to me. I just care about how much we're going to be charged. It matters a little bit in terms of if it's been over 12 months, there's probably less you can do in terms of ads and bringing traffic and getting to move. But when I'm just looking at the numbers here and I see I'm going to be charged this amount, I sent this many units in the last, let's say 90 days, this is how I'll take action. So I have the worst contenders here, and I can even sum this at the bottom or do a sum of this and I see how much I'm going to be charged. So if I do a sum at the bottom, under $17. Yeah, so we're gonna be charged $11,000. This is, believe it or not, this is on the lowest side we've ever seen. This is the lowest it's ever been for us starting. When the first time I ever worked on this project, because as you all know, when we started this business, when Sam started this business rather, he was all DVDs, and then we opened low-end toys, and we bought large quantities from wholesalers. So when I first started here, we had hundreds and thousands of units in stock of DVDs that he just bought in lots and things like that. So brace yourselves. The first time I had to deal with long-term storage, we were going to be charged $90,000. And before, yep, that was when there was only 1 fee. So I was able to, by manipulating the data and like moving things around, recalling, destroying certain things, doing ads, lowering prices, deciding what to keep, the amount we were going to be charged at the end was only about $30,000. So chopped it down pretty heavily. The next time we were going to be charged like $66,000. I brought it down to about 30 again. The next time we were going to be charged $44,000, brought it down to like 20, 2021. This last term, we were going to be charged, I think it was close to 30 or 40 again. I brought it down to 18. So now we're starting at 11.5, a lot easier to manage. Plus, it's not going to impact as much because we also got smarter buying. We have less, inventory in stock. Yeah. Now, another reason why I like doing the sum column is because if I just sort this by just 0, let's say, I don't have to care about this inventory because the inventory age report is just all of your inventory, how long they've been there. It's not specifically for long-term storage. So I can delete everything on here that's not going to be charged long-term storage and then only look at the items that are problems. So I like doing that sum column because it makes it easier to isolate just the problem inventory. So from here on is when you can decide what do you want to do with the product. Do you want to do ads, lower your prices, recall them, destroy them? So next thing I like to do here, I like to add a column to get a per unit. So I'll just take the total long-term storage fees, divide by the total quantity. So I get approximately how much I'm going to be charged per unit. And this is how I make my decisions of whether or not recalling is better than destroying versus keeping it at Amazon. Because if I see I'm going to be charged $6.34 for these per item, well, I mean, I'm probably better off sending this to a liquidator or an auction than, pay 50 cents a unit instead of $6.30 a unit for them not to sell. But if I see items are going to be charged 1 cent, 4 cents, 5 cents a unit, probably just keep them there, see what happens. Because I'd be losing money by bringing them back, even if they don't sell. So I can also just lower the price, yeah. But if things are slow moving for whatever other reasons, that's a separate story. But at least just to figure out what the least amount you'll be paying in long-term storage fees, sometimes it's better. It's good to look at the per unit charge to see, anything under 50 cents a unit, maybe just keep or recall a small portion of them and keep the right amount in stock, or just leave them all there. And anything that's going to be a lot per unit, unless they're selling for a high price, then you want to make sure you're overcoming it. So I'm going to open a different report real quick that I'm working on right now, and it's going to be very, very complicated, and it's going to be a lot of columns and a lot of data. So I don't expect anyone to do it this way, but just to show how I do this. Right. So I got information, just to zoom out a bit. I'm zoomed out just so I can see the total. There's 59 columns currently. And I have these color coded by where I got them from. So this report is from the inventory health report. It's my SKU, my FN SKU, ASIN title, total quantity and stock. This is from App Eagle. This is my notes, so I know when we got it, where we got it from, my cost of goods, my min price, max price, and the current selling price on Amazon. This is last updated on the 12th. Then I have running through software like Scan Power or Price Checker 2, the category, the sales rank, the buy box price, Amazon if they're on the listing, FBA, merchant filled, number of competition, how much is in the buy box contention, what I got from actually on Price Checker 2, like I explained earlier. I have the fees, the FBA fees, so not the commission, just so I can figure out the actual ROI at the buy box. Margin after fees, which is more important than net profit here because we already paid for the item, so it doesn't matter what our net profit is. At this point, it's just what are we going to get paid from Amazon? So the margin is more important here. ROI at the current buy box. So, and I like having this because I know if things are negative and we're matching the buy box, this is stuff I've already lowered my prices on. So lowering my price even further may not even help. But if things are profitable at the buy box, I may as well just lower my price to either break even if they're going to be charged 6 months or 12 months storage. So they've been there long enough. There's no reason they should be, this high of ROI if they're not selling. And, they could have just been bad buys or whatever happened. I'm going to skip over this for the moment. This is the remaining portions of the inventory health report. So I have the inventory age, how long they've been at Amazon, sales 90 days, sales 180 days, sales last year or plus, competition. This is all from Seller Essentials Inventory Health. So I have this duplicated here. My current price, lowest competition price. Then I have the long-term storage. So I did the sum. I'm actually hiding the other columns right now for the 12-month storage and whatnot. So I have my total quantity, my total fees, and per unit. And then Amazon suggestions. This came from the inventory age report. And then snapshot. I'll talk about this after also. This is a new thing I'm working on this level. But this is when Amazon got you the data. So even if you download it like January 9th, it's saying this is the data from the 5th. So I know at least where it's at. So what is this thing here? This is the math I'm doing to project 6 months sales. So basically what I'm saying here is based on our last 6 months of sales, I'm saying if the quantity that I sold is greater than the amount I have in stock, I will say that in the next 6 months, we will sell out of our stock. Most likely. Obviously, Q4 comes into play, but I'm working off that premise. If the number is equal to or less than what we sold in 6 months, I'm going to use that number as my reference. So if we sold 20 in the last 680 days and we have 5 left in stock, we're not going to sell 20, so there's no reason to use that number in my math. I'm going to use that 5, that remaining quantity. But if we sold equal to that number, I'm going to use that quantity there for my reference. So this is my projected sales quantity in the next 6 months. Not going to be accurate, but it's just a jumping off point. Projected Amazon revenue. So what I have here works out really well. Instead of doing a whole bunch of math, since I got this from ScanPower, this is my margin after the buy box price. So if I expect to sell this quantity and the prices generally aren't changing too much, I'm expecting to get Amazon to pay me this much after all fees and after everything except our cost of goods. So I'm just going to take this quantity and multiply by the margin to say in 6 months, we'll get this dollar value out of this product without taking long-term storage fees into effect. This is just what we're going to be paid from Amazon. After long-term storage fees, I'm going to take this revenue and subtract my total long-term storage fees. So we're only going to be charged $35 for this, but keeping it for 6 months, I'm probably going to get $4,000 because it's a hot moving item. There's no reason to recall it because, that number is negligible for me. This just happens to be one of the better items. Now, I even added columns to say if I recall the inventory, it's going to be 50 cents per unit times the total unit that's going to be charged. So that's going to be, I'm losing $170 where I could be keeping it in stock and be having up to a maximum of $4,000 in revenue in the next 6 months. If I destroy it, that's 15 cents per unit. This next column, I only worked with this for items that were negative here. So what's good about doing this kind of math here, anytime that this number after fees is positive, it's probably worth keeping at Amazon because this is accounting for the fees. If you recall the inventory, you're not only not making any sales, you're avoiding long-term storage, fine, but you're paying to have the inventory come back. So you're paying this by recalling it, whereas you could be making this. So if this number is positive, I'm just going to say keep these at Amazon. So I can do a number filter here and do less than 0. And now I'm looking at all the items that are going to be problems. So these are items that have sold 0 units in the last 6 months or sold very small units. So this is my projected revenue based on my history of sales. And this is my projected after Amazon, after long-term storage fees. So this is where this comes into play. If I want to liquidate it, most liquidators offer between 8 to 12% of the sell price. But I also have to pay 50 cents to bring it back. So I'm doing here, okay, so I actually worked with AMZ Expert, which their website actually broke it down by category, what the average are going to be. So this one was going to be 5 cents per unit. So I'm going to say it's going to be 5%, so 0.05 times my average selling price, or times the buy box price rather, times the quantity. So that's going to be the amount we're going to get from these auctioneers when they sell, plus the amount that it's going to cost to recall it. Because this is a negative, so really it's going to be negative 50 cents times it. But I've already done the math in here, so I'm just going to add this column together. So if this number is positive, then we'd probably want to recall it. Or if this is the largest number of all of these, then that's the best contender. So here we're going to be losing 14 cents total if we decide to recall all this inventory, then liquidate it at this auction house. If we decide to destroy them all, we're paying 15 cents because it's going to be 1 unit. Here, 50 cents, or just keep it at Amazon, it's going to be charged 1 cent. And if one sells, after all fees, we're at least getting 30 cents back. So that's the best option here. Here's an example where I want to find a good one where this is actually not the best choice. It seems to me most of these are already, it is the best choice just because I'm minimizing the amount we're paying, just because we're getting some revenue back. Whereas if these didn't sell on Amazon, that doesn't matter because the auctions will, if they'll sell them in stores, they'll pay you regardless sometimes. Other times, if they don't sell it, they'll donate them. But at least you have a better chance of getting some capital back. Because at this point, if there's no history of this selling through Q4 and it's already, let's say, at a negative 30% ROI here, for example, and we sold 0 in the last 6 months, it's not going to sell on Amazon. There's nothing you can do. Doing ads, you're just going to be paying more. So in this case, you've got to take the best case scenario. So I'm working on this now. This is not finalized yet, but like, I'm just saying what's the best option of all those. So this is my most profitable, quote unquote. And if my most profitable is, I'm even trying to figure out the best way to say, well, let me liquidate a small portion of it, recall a certain portion and keep the remaining, just to figure out what the best option is. This gets like really too complicated, but I started doing this, last week just to see if I should do it. It actually turned out for us to not be worth it because it's only going to save us like $100 by doing this other stuff. But at the very least, I can figure out with this data or with these numbers, which items are worth keeping. So I even put a tab here of what items are worth keeping. So I can see, since I'm going to be profiting or based on keeping these at Amazon, I can say, well, I'm going to be charged $3,700 in long-term storage fees, but my projected revenue by keeping these at Amazon, rather, even including the fees, is, hold on, let's just drag this out, is about $40,000. So these items are greatly worth keeping. I'll eat this 10% fee because I'm going to be making, tenfold here. So there's no reason for me to recall or destroy these items because they're more profitable at Amazon, even if we're paying some small fee. So that's what I like about this. The remaining items, I can now look at the difference. So I'm going to be charged for these items. Let me just do a quick sum here. $7,300. So I've chopped it down by like about $4,000 from my initial quantity. This is more manageable. And if I take action on these, I'll chop it down even further if you decide to recall or destroy. So it's really important. You don't have to do this ridiculous spreadsheet method, but at the very least, know what your numbers are going to be and take action based on those numbers. Because if you have the opportunity to lower that cost, there's no reason you shouldn't. So you have about a month, less than a month to start working on this. So yeah.
Like the report on Amazon, Seller Central, projected amounts for your replenishes.
Yeah.
Backwards, right?
Yeah, kind of. So you're trying to figure out with all the information what's worth keeping, what's worth recalling, what's worth destroying, and what's worth, taking other kinds of action on. So
When do you start looking at this?
ideally January. Yeah. I started January 9th. Yeah, so starting January 9th. I have my
a month before that day.
Yeah, because you want to have the opportunity to see if your changes take action. Because what I do normally is I'll lower prices, I'll do promotions, I'll make my decisions of what's worth keeping, and then I'll update the report as time goes by with my newer inventory health. So what I actually did here, it's not going to show up on this report because it's local on my computer, but what I got here, let me see if I can find one column that shows it. Yeah, so I have a formula here. What I normally do is I download the inventory health report, and then for all the columns that are relevant to like quantity, long-term storage fees, I'll do a formula like a VLOOKUP to see, let me get the newer ones based on this new data. Okay. And then what'll happen is these numbers will go down as time goes by because there's less in stock because things have sold. The fees will update based on that information, which means my formulas will update as well. I may have had some sales and things that didn't sell, which means I'll probably worth keeping them because I've already made back some capital. And so everything shifts. And on top of that, there's going to be stuff that sells out. So if you have things that are 1 unit in stock that never sold out, if this shows up, let's say, with the formula or however it is, like going to be #NA or N-A rather, that just means that this was not found on the report. If that's the case, then it's not in your inventory health report, which means it's no longer in stock. So that means it probably sold out, and you can even check your orders to make sure of that. So I update this continuously every few days or so, just with the newer information to see if anything that I made any changes I made actually affected it. And if things are relatively the same, then things will change. Why does this keep opening? Okay. Any other questions regarding this, or any questions in the Facebook group as well? Yeah. Nope. Okay, so I guess we're on to the next topic. I'll stop the screen share and we'll end this one.